Good morning. This is my second attempt at doing the devotional this morning. Last night we taught on Psalm 116, and we did a part of the sermon on the word fool, and I feel that there's a real need in life for us to understand that the world is really filled with fools. That doesn't sound very good in English, but actually it must be like that because we have a sin nature. Without the knowledge of God, we have our independence from God. We say there is no God sometimes. If there is a God, he's not involved. He doesn't care. We have a tendency to be emotional, reactionary. I said in my haste, all men are liars. This means the psalmist, in a reactionary way, is saying quickly, caustically, though it's correct still, he realizes that his orientation cannot be a reaction to men, but I need to incorporate God in a full and a rich way in my mind, in my thinking, to wait upon him, to relate to him. Actually, Hebrews 4, to work at it. The Puritans called the Sabbath, the day they did heart work. They worked on it. In our reading the right kind of stuff, the book, the songs we sing, the words, the poetry, the biographies, the heroes of the faith, the people who have believed God even in really bad times. So in Psalm 116, when we understand how foolish we can be, how emotional, also the psalmist, 2 times he talks about dying and being very close to death, and God delivering his soul from death, his eyes from tears, and his feet from falling. That was our theme last night. It was very good in the Spirit, anointed it. We just had our early morning prayer meeting this morning, and it was very precious. I just feel that these prayers are being answered, and God is working. On the streets in America, where we see this strife, in some cases violence and lawlessness, it's like Goliath as a big giant yelling, loud voice, mocking God. And I feel that the devil knows what can happen if the church is praying. He knows what can happen when we humble ourselves before God, and that he knows there could be a revival that could happen in our country and sweep through and save many and change the lives of people. So that's our labor in the Lord. Psalm 116, what shall I do to render unto the Lord for all of his benefits toward me? I will take the cup of salvation. I will calculate on the basis of what he did. I will take what he has said. We have a tendency for hypocrisy, for foolishness. We have a tendency for the superficial, and yet God fills you with his Spirit and speaks to you in your heart to lead you in a world of fools, really, and of which I am one of them. I am one of them. However, if the Spirit could teach us and guide us in his wisdom, and we would enjoy the wisdom relate to the wisdom, speak it often one to another, relate to it in our troubles, like find wisdom. Then there will be light shining in a dark place. There'll be real, amazing release, freedom, and joy. We don't live in our culture, we live in Christ. We don't live in our personality, we live in Christ. We don't live in our foolishness. Foolishness is also when I take the credit for the things in life. That's a foolish thought. But when we worship, we say, God is here. God has made the nature. God has put things in our hearts. God has given us gifts. God has answered prayers. God has done great things. And this is what the psalmist is saying in 116. I will take the cup of salvation. What shall I do? I will lift up the cup and call on the name of the Lord, and be a worshiper of God. God bless you.